Hi guys, Civilian Snowman here again. I know you're expecting me to review RoboCop on Blu-ray, but instead I thought I'd take a crack at doing a review of Watchmen, the movie. Now, I've been a fan of the book for quite a while. I've had it a while, I've read it, I've got the poster up, yeah, that makes me a fan, woo. Now, the film itself, with it being directed by Zack Snyer, I had every faith in it being a really good adaptation, judging by what he did with 300, even though 300 isn't one of the best films, but it's very watchable, and considering the lack of source material, because the book is only short, it was a really good stab at an adaptation. And last night I rewatched Dawn of the Dead, the remake that he made, and the director's cut, that is. I was really impressed. I think that's a very good film also, and I think he's really knocked one out of the park with Watchmen. Now, the film, let's get this out of the way. It is pretty much as good an adaptation as you can possibly get of this novel. I don't think any other director would have tried to do anything any more faithful. I mean, my only minor niggle, and spoilers alert, is the ending. Now, yeah, the repercussions are the same of what they changed it to, using Dr. Manhattan's powers to cause an explosion and stuff like that. Yeah, the effects are the same, but it loses that what the fuck moment. Because when you're reading the graphic novel and you get to chapter 12 and then all of a sudden a giant fucking squid shows up, you just think, what the fuck? My jaw hit the floor, it was amazing. And I would love to see a mainstream cinema audience sat there as a giant fucking squid showed up and started eating New York and throwing shit around. And be like, what the fuck, you know? People have argued that we spend 2.5 hours following these characters, and for the squid to show up, it would undo all that. It wouldn't suit the rest of the film, but I just think it would be a very brave move of the filmmakers to have that squid show up, and it would just be the biggest what the fuck moment in the history of cinema. It would be brilliant. But yeah, the ending that they chose with Dr. Manhattan's powers being used by Ozymandias, if that's how you pronounce his name, forgive me if I said it wrong, don't bite my head off. Yeah, with the effects being the same, it's passable. I mean, it's a more cinematic ending. Yeah, it's still downbeat, but what the hell, Still enjoyed it. The film, a lot of people have complained about the soundtrack. Now, I thought the soundtrack was really brave, and yeah, some songs don't quite fit with the scenes, but I think they were really well picked. I mean, the only niggle I have with this is during the sex scene between Night Owl and Silk Spectre 2. Now, the sex scene's fine. I didn't think it was too long, too overdone, whatever, right on. But I did not like the use of the song Hallelujah because it played that scene more for laughs. So what could have been, with a different song, a very tender moment between the two characters, became comedic. And I didn't like that because, obviously, in the scenes leading up to that, as they did in the comic, they focused on Dan Dreiberg's impotence. But I don't think that Hallelujah was a good choice of song at all. That is the only song choice I would change. The actors, I think everyone brings their A game to it. The only actor I have a problem with is Matthew Goode as Ozymandias, just because I think he doesn't have, to me, much chemistry. Now, this is a part that, everyone in the world knows that he's Ozymandias. He's a celebrity, he's the smartest man in the world, he's a businessman, he's rich, all that crap. He's like Tony Stark on steroids. And, I would have had that part played by someone like Brad Pitt, and I like the fact that everyone is unknown, but I think the part of Ozymandias should be played by one of the biggest movie stars on the planet, someone who's instantly recognisable, so when it was revealed that he's the villain, it hits home all the more. I think Brad Pitt could have brought some much needed chemistry to that role, much needed charisma. Like, I can imagine in that final confrontation with Rorschach and Night Owl, fucking Ozymandias bouncing off the walls and shit if he was played by a better actor, rather than just standing there like, I am robotic and I am the villain. But yeah, so I would not have cast Matthew Goode, even though he gave it a good stab. He was like quietly confident while he was doing it, which is fair enough. He was alright, but he's the only actor who really let the side down, I think. I mean, the standouts for me are Jackie Earle Haley as Rorschach, obviously. I think he's brilliant. And Patrick Wilson as Night Owl, who is, I think, the best performance in the film. I think the subtlety to his performance and the humanity that he brings to it is really balances well with the rest of the film. I mean, Billy Crudup as well as Dr. Manhattan. The little subtle nuances of his performance, the little reflexes in his face to show that he's still, even though he's losing his touch with humanity, he still is human underneath, if that's the right way to put it. So I'm going to keep this review short because let's face it, there are thousands of reviews out there of this film, Watchmen, and the chances of anyone actually clicking on mine and seeing it are pretty remote. So to keep your interest, I'll keep it short and sweet. As an adaptation, yeah, you're not going to get a better one. The Blu-ray, when it comes out, will obviously have Tales of the Black Freighter included, so if anyone missed it, you're going to get it in the director's cut or ultimate cut, whatever you want to call it. Tales of the Black Freighter obviously coming out at the end of this month / beginning of next, depending on where you live. And you get it earlier in America, so here in England we have to wait a couple more weeks, but when the actual film comes out on Blu-ray, everything will be reincorporated and it'll be like probably about an hour longer or something, which I'm really looking forward to because there were some things that I missed. Like, I did miss Tales of the Black Freighter and the scenes at the newsstand with the two blokes who, at the end of the film, when Dr. Manhattan's power explodes, you see them embrace and hold each other, so it would lead you to believe that those scenes have been shot. So I'm looking forward to seeing them being cut into the film. Now, yeah, Zack Snyer, I think, has delivered a brilliant adaptation with very brave sequences. The gore is upped. I mean, I wondered why it was an 18, or in America, R. And there's some scenes that he's changed, like Rorschach confronting a paedophile with a butcher knife instead of burning him like he does in the comic book. And an inmate's arm's getting cut off as well with a power saw, where in the book he just got his throat slashed. Now, for all the naysayers out there that didn't think Zack Snyer would deliver, no matter whether they admit it or not, they are going to be impressed by this film. I mean, anyone expecting a literal adaptation of the book, a literal translation, is going to be disappointed because it's obviously a mainstream movie-going audience isn't going to buy into that. That's why the best of Watchmen is going to be saved for the DVD and Blu-ray, obviously. I mean, if you haven't got a Blu-ray player already, get one before Watchmen comes out because it looks absolutely amazing. And yeah, the cinematography is very impressive. So on Blu-ray it'll look all the more impressive. Very worthy of an upgrade. Now, fans of the book won't be disappointed. You do not need to have read the book before you go into this film, although it probably helps, but it loses the element of surprise. My girlfriend went in not having read the book, and she understood everything. She really enjoyed the film. So that just shows you don't have to have read the book. I mean, you know, we sit around and shoot the shit about the film all the time, and you know, she knows what she's talking about. So there you go. You don't need to have read the book. But although if you haven't, I recommend that you go out and get it. HMV.com have it for $9.99 free delivery. So what are you waiting for? The film for me gets solid 4 stars. Although I'm sure when it comes out on Blu-ray with the director's cut, it will get 5. I'm looking forward to seeing all the lost footage cut back into it. Zack Snyer has delivered a near-perfect adaptation, better than anything else that we would have seen while the movie's been in development hell. And I thoroughly recommend going to see it. I haven't seen it in IMAX, so at a regular screening, late-night screening. So I think you will enjoy it if you're a fan of the book, or if you're not a fan of the book, it's a really interesting movie-going experience. If you're expecting it to be something like The Dark Knight or X-Men 2, you know, one of the better comic book movies, it's so different in style, it's so not that film. This film is more like a Paul Thomas Anderson Boogie Nights kind of drama in a mask, in a superhero mask. Thoroughly enjoyable, 5 stars. Stop watching me and go out and see it. So I'll check back with you later. Next review will probably be RoboCop, but who knows? I'll decide later. So yeah, just check out my channel as well. There it is on the computer screen right there. And I shall see you all later. Bye bye.